Welcome to the maiden episode of Bricks and Dreams podcast. This is your host Orko, and today I've got Navjot, my best friend, and the person that that I've been working to kind of build this entire Bricks and Dreams real estate and everything with. So Navjot, it's so amazing to have you
Thank you.
on the show. Welcome to the show, and we want to discuss a lot of things about how we started with things between the two of us. In the very first year, we've done about 400 transactions. I mean, it's crazy. Like, that amount is crazy. So, but then everything comes at a cost. People might be thinking that this is an overnight success and everything, but it's not. There is a fair bit of challenges, and we want to share all of that, the laughs, the challenges, and why we are so passionate about helping, especially first time buyers and sellers, right? So, Navjot, welcome to the show.
Thank you so
And
much.
welcome to the maiden Bricks and Dreams podcast. It's so amazing to have you. And I couldn't have done this. I wanted to kind of do this with you. Like, the first episode had to be you, right?
Absolutely. The pleasure is mine.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So let's start from the beginning, right? So uh, let's talk about, and obviously we know this, but then why did we think about getting into real estate in the very first place? Like, you into
You want the serious version or the actual version? The
Let's-
truth. Let's start with the truth. Right?
let's start with the truth. Yes, let's.
It was mid of 2021, and we put an offer on a condo together. The realtor at that time did not tell us, and we didn't know because we were too new to this. That we didn't know that there would be HST on top of our transaction, because as an investor, when you invest, there's 13% HST. You do
Yeah.
get something back from the CRA, but still we didn't know that, right? So and then the price point actually increased to almost $800,000 for a 1+1.
Oh,
And I was like, I don't think the numbers make sense on this, and we should not do it. So we actually put the deposit. And then we came to know that there's HST, which is stupid. And then, I took a detour. I was going to my house, back to my house, and I was like constantly thinking, talking to Simran, that I don't think we are doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Thank God we, did that, because it was closing now and the market is not good. And I just took a detour to Orko's house. And then we were sitting, and I was like, I don't think we should do it. And he was like, makes sense. But he was also like, हमें क्या हमेशा प्रॉब्लम होती रहेगी पैसे की वजह से हम ये नहीं करेंगे वो नहीं करेंगे and I was like, okay, let's do this. I'm good with numbers. Let me become the mortgage agent, and you're good with talking to people, and sales, and being empathetic to people. You be the realtor. I had no idea that mortgage agent, you can actually become a mortgage agent in 14 days,
Yeah.
whereas he would take 6 to 8.
I always say this. I always say this to Navjot, that you cheated on me, because because the initial discussion was to have me and Navjot go hand in hand with have Navjot into mortgages and me into real estate. So Navjot does his course in 2 weeks, flat 14 days out, and he's super serious about everything, right? He's super consistent, super disciplined, and everything. Not the same with me. So I'm a very hard kind of a person. So now, and on top of it, I go and see the real estate course is five. Five
Modules.
different modules, five different courses, 2 in-person trainings. I'm like, dude, what? And then
And he thought that I already knew that, and I was like, I literally came up with the idea sitting on that sofa, maybe a couple of drinks down. So
oh yeah, for sure.
yeah.
More than a couple, for sure.
But that's how we started, right? So the intention was, it was not pre-planned or anything. It was just spur of the moment, where we thought that first of all, I wished that we had better guidance, and someone told us as first time investors that you'll have to put in HST, and secondly, it was just a spur of the moment, where we were like, we couldn't be for life, be in a situation where we can't invest, where we can't do this. So let's build our own business. I had already built 3 businesses before, so I already knew the power of building your own business and having that freedom. But that's how we started.
Yeah, and also one of the things that we realized, right, in the whole process was like there were always people who were coming up to us, and because by that time we had already bought and sold our own homes. We did renovations to a certain degree and everything. And then we always had people reach out to us, even when we were not realtors and you were not into mortgages. Yeah. People used to reach out to us and go like, "Hey, Navjot, or hey, Orko, like, how do we go about this? Like, is this a is this a good way to go about it?" Yeah. And then it really dawned upon us, yeah, that especially first time buyers are so vulnerable because real estate over here is so pricey. And you really don't have any bandwidth to go wrong. And if you do, then it kind of, it takes years to get out of that situation, to recover from that position, right? So, and then, like, because we always discuss this, and one of the main reasons why we came into real estate literally and wanted to start helping especially first time buyers is because we want to handhold them through everything and make sure that the things that were not mentioned to us by people who we were working with, as to what would work in the next 3 years, 4 years. Because usually people are like, "Oh, you like this place? Yeah, yeah, let's go buy it." But then you want that somebody around you who would be like, "No, you know what? It is probably not a good decision for you to buy right now. So hold on." How many times have you or have we gone into calls with our clients? You just said, did, right? So I just, yeah, I 10 was minutes ago. And some of one thing that we forget is, and we were just having a training yesterday, and this actually, obviously I keep thinking about this over and over, and we were having a sales training, and there I told the team, and we were discussing with the team that when someone calls you, like as agents, they've already decided that they want to buy a home. Yeah. Maybe they're looking for guidance. So you don't have to convince them to buy a home. In fact, you need to ask the right questions to them, that as to, why do you want to buy this home? Why do you want to buy a $1.2 million home when you can actually do with $700,000 home? Why do you want to buy here, whereas you can get something cheaper here? So it's not about convincing them to buy because they're already convinced when they're booking a call. It's all about knowing why they want to buy and why they want to take a decision, and making sure that they don't take a wrong decision out of emotion, which is the second biggest mistake that first time buyers do. The first one is not knowing everything and going into it, eyes closed. But the second one is that, just taking decisions on emotion. Yeah, yeah. And that's where we come in and play the devil's advocate and making sure that they are actually taking numbers driven decisions. Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we keep telling all our new clients who get into calls with us is that do not expect us to be your yes men. We do have our opinion, and we are very, very opinionated about stuff. Yeah, ultimately it's your money that you want to spend. But at one point it would be us making sure that we treat your money as ours, and we would basically voice our opinion accordingly, right? So I think that goes a long way. Many a times I've had people reach out to me, and like, I'm pretty sure you as well, where they kind of come and just they're all gaga about the fact that there is, which goes very well with the motto that you have, like, give more than you take, right? So like, the entire Bricks and Dreams team, entire Grow with Nav team, they're very, very aligned with this idea about give more than you take. And one of the things that I think has been working very nicely is this, that you we're never trying to convert somebody as a lead when we're talking to somebody. Even if we know that that's a person that would probably might as well be our client later, but then we never try to kind of have those conversations shaped up in a way that, yeah, we want to have you as a lead, right? Yeah. So I think that's the very premise, of us trying to, get into real estate. I'll never forget about that though. Like, Navjot, again, recapping it, 14 days into mortgage, and me, I took about 1.5 years. You gotta get through get through my course. But then, yeah, I've seen people. There's somebody in my team who did it in 6 months flat. But then, I think I got very complacent after course two. Course two, course two is, for people who are actually taking up the real estate license right now. Course two is easily the longest, the biggest of the modules, and once I did course two, I was like, "Oh, I've got this." And now after that, I took a huge long break and everything. But people feel that, people tend to feel that everything is overnight. The success that you're seeing, like the what, like the first year, 400 transactions between the two of us, and about $100 million. And this is just the real estate bit, the realtor bit, like the Bricks and Dreams team, $100 million in sales volume, about 160 families served in 1 year, right? People feel that, and obviously because you are a powerhouse to work with, right? And I find it, I consider myself very lucky to have to be to have friends like you, to be in such close proximity. But then with that comes a lot of things where you feel that, like the thing that we were just talking about, that is just Navjot, and because we are so close, even I get a little blindsided with all the good things that you're doing, and it's very easy for me to pick those up, and people would assume that I pick them up, but I don't, right? And because of that, a lot of people tend to think that this success is overnight, right? But there were a fair bit of challenges that were involved in the whole thing.
Yeah.
What challenges you thought um, comes to the top of your head when we were like trying to achieve what we have achieved?
I think the biggest, I won't say the challenge, but the biggest, in my head, the biggest thing was, how are we going to get leads? Obviously, I had, and when a new mortgage agent comes to me and asks, okay, what do I do? Should I become a mortgage agent? And how do I get leads? And I'm like, I have no idea, bro. The reason is because I already built a brand and then became a mortgage agent. So I had, and obviously I built it from zero, right? So it's not like someone else built it for me. But the thing is that my biggest problem when I was becoming a mortgage agent, the biggest hurdle in my mind was, how do I get leads? And that's the reason why I actually moved my branding from Potato Talkies into Grow with Nav. At
And
that
might I
point.
say that was one
Yeah.
one scary decision. I know how it was not a decision that I couldn't have taken that decision. I mean, to have built such a huge brand, Potato Talkies.
So just for context, it had 200,000 subscribers. But when you look at analytics, there were a lot of people who were following from India. So almost 70% of the viewers were Indians who were interested in vlogging, the vlogs that we were making, our travels, the immigration stuff, but they could not come here because of the immigration policies. And so 70% of the viewers were in India. And the YouTube algorithm is funny, and it shows more of your audience, your content to the audience. And I was like, this is not going to work. And that was probably the biggest challenge that I faced, to rebrand myself from Potato Talkies, because to date, there are people who have saved my name as Navjot Potato Talkies. So I was and people didn't, in fact, people did not recognize me by my name. Yeah. They still knew Simran, but they did not know me by my name. They only knew me by Potato Talkies. And that's what I wanted to change, because it's a personal business. So I wanted to change that branding from Potato Talkies to Nav, and associate myself into it, because that's how brands are built. And that was probably the biggest challenge, the change that we had from Potato Talkies to Grow with Nav. Now, honestly, I knew how to build it. So if you do it once, it was not overnight again. It was not a fluke that we had 200,000 subscribers on Potato Talkies. In fact, my first video that went viral was a 50-second video. So most of those 200,000 subscribers came from the 50-second video. So we actually persevered for 51 videos before the first video that got viral, and we got the overnight success after 8 months of doing it.
And I always say this, right? Sorry, I'm barging in. I'm always say this, that like I'm a huge fan, and till some months back, it didn't dawn upon me, right? Like now that I'm getting into more into content, I'm getting more serious about things. I'm not just about the real estate bit, but then the other aspects which lead to the real estate, lead generation and everything. I am now understanding the kind of perseverance, the kind of consistency that's needed for a brand to be where he is, right? And for somebody to be just leaving out Potato Talkies, and that was a decision that I remember those discussions between the four of us, me, you, Deepashree, Simran, where there was a discussion over and over again, and it's a huge thing to have, like to grow a brand, a channel to 200,000 subscribers on YouTube, and then just to be able to decide that now we want to go some other route. So that's a huge challenge, right?
And I think, besides that, there was another industry challenge that I did not see coming. Now, everyone told me that this is a very dirty industry to get into mortgages.
Yeah.
Because there is, mortgage fraud, which is happening. I don't know when this podcast goes, but if it goes next week, there is a video on mortgage fraud that will be on my channel. And I'll talk about how it's a 1 billion, more than $1 billion of fraud mortgages that are happening in Canada.
Wow.
And this is just an estimate. It could be a lot more than that, right?
Wow.
And that was a challenge that I faced because a lot of people who came to me, which is also the reason why Grow with Nav is in English, right? So that's a different story. But a lot of people who came to me, they did not have enough income. And they assumed that you would create documents. And there were realtors who reached out to me because I was on social media, because they thought that, I'll have a barter there. And they were like, okay, but to see, in Punjabi, they would like to see in document bana doge. काम तो हो ही जाता है ना. For people who don't understand Punjabi, work always happens. Will you be able to fudge documents, make fraudulent documents? And I was like, no, we don't do that. And then they assumed, and this is after I have done 100 mortgages in a year, the first year, they assumed that I don't do any business and I'm good for nothing. And he literally said that, फिर business किस तरह करोगे? इस तरह चलेगा ही नहीं. And that was one challenge, not from the clients, but obviously there were a lot of people who came to me and I said no. So they were like two people out of 5 who I would say no to, because there was not enough income and they were expecting fraud, and that's how common it was back then. Now it's much better, or probably I'm not getting those calls anymore, because I'm out and about saying that I don't do that. And that was another industry challenge that I really want to change. I didn't know that I had that vision. I just went into mortgages over that chat and helping first time home buyers. But now I want to leave this industry better than, how.
And I think you're doing a commendable job, because more and more people come over and say, the same way that you said that, like, oh, if you don't fudge documents, then how are you working? How you People don't realize this, that, like, there is so many ways to kind of do clean job.
Yeah.
And look at you. You're like, this past year you did over, in the last 1 year you did over 200 transactions.
Yeah.
And not one of those transaction was where the documents were fudged, right?
And it's not like, people who are coming. So the reason why I started making videos and we changed, if you look at my first video, it was a mix of Hindi and English. But I changed that is purely because I wanted to attract people with good income who required guidance.
Absolutely.
Right. So that's the void that I was trying to fill. I was not trying to fill a void where you don't have income, therefore we'll fudge documents. That's the trap that a lot of mortgage agents get into. I was like, okay, what else can I provide to people who can actually walk into their bank and get their mortgages? That was a very niched out challenge that I was trying to solve. And I'm glad that we were able to do that. And look at us, right? So like we have done over 400 transactions. 1 year between the two of us, mortgages, 240, 160 transactions in real estate. And none of those people, and we actually have a WhatsApp group there. So, if you do fraud mortgages, you can't have people inside one WhatsApp group because obviously,
people will
are getting exposed, right? But because we run such a clean business, we are able to do that. And we have such a close-knit community of seeing Grow Nation and how it's how it's interacting.
It's a very close-knit community. So just so everybody knows that Navjot he is, to me, he is the guy to build communities around whatever he does. And just from the basic part where he believes in give more than you take, and that resonates so much with everybody. It's just that the community that he builds, inherently they start vibing with this very motto, right? So I am glad to be part of the Grow Nation family that you're building as well. And I feel that it is going to be one major power to reckon with in the coming few years. I mean, it is already amazing to see how many people do we have in the Grow Nation.
500.
So it's just about 500 people. I know this for a fact that people want to be part of this Grow Nation family every single day. But I feel that it's such a huge addition of values every single day. I mean, I am there in that community, and then most of the time, Navjot's not even saying anything. So it's like it's the other people
Yeah.
who are discussing if there is a if there's some people trying like bringing over their values on stock markets, like when the as to when they're buying, what they're buying, and all that stuff. And there's 1,000 gazillion chats about varied topics that are happening
Like
on
only
growth.
yesterday, right? There was some person who is trying to build an app,
Yeah.
and he is looking for a partner. And there was another app developer, and now they're talking, right? So like, it's a mutual client, right? So both of us are mutual clients, and imagine they build something amazing out of this.
Yeah.
I would probably have no idea unless they tell me.
Yeah.
But it's that's the beauty of it, right? So you can move out of it, and you just build a community where people collaborate with one another and build something amazing. Even if one success story comes, and it's a funny story that on my first networking event, I didn't intend it be like that, but on the first networking event, there were two people, two strangers who met, and now they're married.
What?
I had,
Really?
I had. It was not a matchmaking event
Are
at all, right?
are
So,
we are we also looking at the possibility of having Grow Nation, the matchmaker?
matchmakers,
No.
maybe, right? But the thing is that that's the power of community. If you build those, amazing thing happens whether or not you're looking.
And I think that is one of the reasons why we wanted to. I think that is one of the these success stories, these results that we got out of. And there was no way to basically know this before we plunged into it, but then now we are seeing those results come up, and I feel that it's so very satisfying, no?
Yeah.
And I feel that is a huge part as to why we stuck on with the initial challenges that we saw. And I am very glad, and I'm pretty sure you are too, to be doing this over and over again.
Yeah.
It's almost like challenging oneself to kind of go about it.
And now I think the biggest challenge right now, and you would agree probably, is that now because our time is limited, right? So now we have to build a team. How do we find people and then inculcate the same values, or just get on people with the same values, and make sure that they also give more than they take, and we just have that as a culture, rather than just us, doing the flag of,
Yeah.
and we are very proud of the team that we have. That's the only reason why we were able to do 400 transactions
Yeah.
in the last 1 year, is that they actually hold that flag very high. But that was a challenge for the entire year where we were
It
struggling
was.
with.
It so was, and we're gonna come back to this a little later as to there is a reason why, like there are even in Bricks and Dreams, the team, we at least have three realtors, three people on the team. And we don't call them realtors anymore. We call them partners, because we totally believe in building this family together, and we are all in it together. So we have partners, senior partners. But there's a reason why three of the partners in the team were my clients. They were
Yeah.
people, and Navjot's clients. They were people that who we got them homes, and then what happens, like when you spend a lot of time with them in person, going out and about and seeing homes, you get to know more of them. And once you get to more of them, you get to know more of their personality and everything. At the end of the day, like how what you said is. This was one of the major challenges in the first year, to be able to attract partners in the team who would not be just that pushy realtor,
Yeah.
which we so vehemently don't want to be, but at the same time would want to basically drive the business in a way that sits very nice with our values and ethics, right? So that was one of the things. But challenges being there, like these are all challenges that were work related. What do you have to say about the personal challenges that we went through in this whole period? And don't forget, guys, this is where where Navjot started a year before me, because we were supposed to do it together again, but Navjot's 2 weeks, mine 1.5 years. So I started a year later. So Navjot went into this a year before me. And what do you have to say about the about the
And
personal
so
challenges?
I think, so me and Simran, it was a little bit different because we have been working together since 2017. So we have already built 3 businesses together. So we were going through a lot of challenges, but those businesses were not taking a toll on us in the sense that I don't think I understood execution in the way I do now. I don't, most times entrepreneurs underestimate the amount of effort which is required and that goes into, building a successful business. So we underestimated that the first 3 businesses. This one was different, and it is crazy. Like there were times when I was working 22 hours a day. Uh, for days, like I had not taken a break for 2 years, and the only 2 times that I took a break, and one of them Orko knew about, and he just booked a Cuba trip, and he was like, I almost fell. Like I almost fainted, and then Simran was discussing with Deepashree, and Orko was like, "Let's just book a." And he had not completed his realtor course.
Yeah, I
So
was I was not even a realtor, and I was just I like every Friday we would meet up at our place or their place, and we would just have a gala, nice chill time, and everything. And suddenly, Navjot was not even in the scene altogether,
yeah.
and I was like, "What's happening?" And we got a little concerned because we were talking to Simran, and Simran was like, Simran is a very, very level-headed girl. She's the most pragmatic person you would come across and everything. But when we heard Simran say, what, I'm feeling a little concerned about his health and everything, and then it was like, no, 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 and that is when we actually booked the trip. And forget this, we booked the trip, and Navjot did not even know where he's headed to. Okay, this is a challenge that we keep asking this question. Do you remember the name of the hotel?
Ibero Resort Varadero.
Okay, half of 60%. But then, even when we were there in the hotel,
I
he
did not
had
know where I am.
yeah
Like
he
I did not know it's Varadero. I forgot. Obviously, I knew
no,
because
because you did not even you do not
I was in the
care.
resort and I did not know the name of the resort.
Yeah.
So that's how disconnected I was with personal life.
And it was not even that. Like even when you're in the even when we were in the resort. So Cuba has terrible internet connectivity. You the
Yeah.
the resort that we went to is probably one of the best ones over there. The only place that you would get internet connectivity would be at the at the reception, at the concierge. And I wake up at 8 in the morning and I see Navjot's not around anywhere. So we had adjacent rooms and everything. Not there. I was like, where are you? And he's like at the reception at 8 in the morning, bludgeoning through work through the rest of the day. There was this beautiful sunset on the day that we were coming back. Beautiful sunset. We were on the beach and everything. And Navjot was like buried in work, right?
Yeah.
But then, how much of a
I did enjoy a little
no,
bit.
no.
But yeah, obviously, work was, and this was like 4 months into mortgages, and I had no idea people would trust me enough. And at that time, I was undergoing 19, there were 19 active files while we were on the trip, and after I had fainted once, right? And my underwriter at that time was not available. On that trip, so I had to
Wow.
manage everything. It was crazy, but the thing is that, and the reason why we bring this up is that Simran enjoyed that sunset alone with them, obviously, but alone as a couple, right? So, but the thing is that it does take a toll on your personal life, and as much as the viewers who already know me, who have been following me on Potato Talkies, think that Simran and I gel very together. Everything is good, amazing. That's what is on the camera. There were challenges in our marriage as well. Not extreme challenges, but there were points where Simran wanted my attention. She needed me. And that's where this was around the time when we took the 1 month trip. And on that trip, also, we fought a lot. And because I was working constantly, and that's when I decided that either I quit mortgages or I build a team. Because it cannot go the way it's going right now because my time is limited. A lot of people want to talk to me and have mortgages, and it's an open forum where they can actually now book a call, and not always people book a call with me to discuss mortgages, and I'm open to discussing anything because I'm at the end of the day helping them, right? So and I was like, okay, this is not going to work, and that's the reason why we built a team. And now it's good, right? Now, even though I work 7 days a week, but now I can be available for my son. We had a child 3 months ago, and I can now be available for him, right? So, and that's the beautiful thing about business and having a team, that now you can actually spend time with your family when you want to, and at the same time when the business requires you, you just get into the business, and because you've done it, and you've been in the trenches, you can actually do it again. So I think personal life gets hit massively. And I
Big
just
time.
don't. And health, like health gets impacted a lot, big time, right? So and I think it all got repeated when Orko got into real estate, and I was
Even worse,
I
I
was
would say.
seeing myself in Orko, and I was like, dude, this is not gonna work like
So,
this.
so I don't know how to put this across. So, Navjot, because obviously a year before I joined the, I started with I started off with everything, and then a year before, so Navjot had already gone through all of it, all the personal struggles and challenges, and he had a very good idea as to what's going to come up for me. And also because as a realtor, you're like, out and about. You're not in the home. There is a difference between like, staying, in the home. Yes, you're on calls and everything all at the same time. But then it means totally different if you're
Physically absent,
physically absent,
like mentally
totally
absent. Obviously,
yeah.
both of us
Well,
are,
you
but
can't. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
even like, that. Well, to
yeah,
some people, like, you being there physically
yeah,
and not being there mentally, I think somebody would much rather prefer to have you both absent
yeah,
physically and
yeah.
mentally, right? So it is a perspective. But what I'm trying to say is this: that when I started getting into one of the things that we have made a bottom line to be able to join our team is that you need to be you need to be 100% exclusive to what you're doing, which is either you're a realtor or you're a mortgage broker, right? So the reason why we do this is because we do understand, because of how we have gone through it. And we now know that how much toll, the kind of toll that it takes on your personal lives, it's it's mind-boggling. And there is no other way you can do it other than just be just that person. Like, either you can't be an IT analyst at day and realtor in the night. Then you would not have any personal life. And if you do not have any personal life, that automatically starts reflecting in your career, because if you're not happy mentally and your sound mind, then you would not be able to go serve your clients in a much better way.
And I think one thing that we should definitely mention, like I can talk about myself and Orko can talk about himself, but support from spouse.
Oh yeah.
Such a critical thing. Now, obviously I talked about the dark side of me and Simran fighting, but at the same time, what I did not mention is the amount of support, the unconditional support that she has shown all throughout the time when I was busy for 2 years. I did not sleep well. I did not spend enough time. We did not spend enough weekends together. She was supportive as hell. And obviously there are times when you break, and both for me and for her, but she has been like a pillar. Now this setup that you see right now, if this recording is actually not being recorded, the audio is because Simran handles it is.
Okay.
so but Simran handles this so much, and Orko knows how much I struggle to put this together, and still it's not perfect.
It's there in the behind the scenes shoot. I mean, Simran, dude, this guy really struggled to kind of put this simple setup together. This is literally just one light and one camera right in front of us, and
And the reason why I say that is that not only did she support me personally, but she also supported me in business. And it's
all the tech.
all the tech, all like she's the person in the household who does drills. Like I don't do drills, right? So like she's the one who is the handyman in the house. She's the one who who set up all this office. She's the one who takes care of the office is not clean right now. It's because I'm in charge of it right now because she's on mat leave, right? So and she's the one who's taking care of our baby right now as we are shooting here. So like she is like a pillar in my life, and that has always supported me. And not just saying that because Simran will kill me if I don't, but she genuinely and
She
that's
never
where
does. I know Simran. Simran will just. It's the last thing on her mind to have given a shout out
oh
to.
yeah.
But I feel that you can't do anything without her just because how amazing she anyway
And
is.
when I hear a lot of entrepreneurs talk, and I did podcasts earlier, when I talk about family, I always had one thing common with everyone who was successful, that their spouse supported them not only in their personal life but also in their professional life.
Oh yeah.
And it's almost like having a common goal where both of you are going towards one goal, and that's called an A couple, by the way. So if you are that, you there's absolutely no reason why you
And I feel that this is the, apart from your spouse, there's nobody else who would know you as good, right?
Yeah.
Like
Have you seen me cry? Simran has, because of work.
Well, I haven't seen you cry.
Work, not because of my personal life, right? Because of work.
Work.
Like she knows me at my worst.
Yeah.
And same with Deepashree, right?
Yeah.
She knows you at your worst. So if someone supports you at their worst, obviously now the life is amazing, and like you can't take.
No,
those
you can't take
instances
anything away. So and for Deepashree as well, like when I joined, when I started becoming a, when I became a realtor, suddenly there was this because Navjot was already a year into mortgages, and he had already become a brand that to reckon with, and people were vibing with him, seriously. And both of us, we literally pledged to ensure that nobody goes disserviced and everything. And there was this time when it was just the two of us. Right now, between us, there's like about 12 realtors, and three people on Navjot's team, hand holding and doing all of it together. But imagine when we started, it was just Navjot and me, just the two of us, and like doing everything together, right? And I remember there was this time when I was handling 9 active clients at
from
one.
Kitchener to Pickering,
Bowmanville.
Bowmanville.
So
Sometimes Newmarket.
yeah. So Pickering, from Kitchener to Bowmanville, 9 active clients. Everybody's schedule was so out of this world. Somebody and I was like literally just demarcating my weekends in 3 hour slots where I would go, 8 to 12, one. 8 to 12, 9 to 12, 1 to 4, and 5 to 8. And those 1 hour that I used to have between showings, I would just somehow try and eat something and everything. And the reason why I'm stating all of this is because, like, Deepashree, because we were talking about the support that we got from our spouses and the challenges that we face. Personal challenge and the mindset that you really need to have is definitely one of the topmost criterias if you wanted to come into real estate as well. Deepashree kind of stepped up.
And he already had a baby, right? So like
We already had
he was what, one?
He was two years old.
2 years old,
Yeah,
right?
2 years old.
And that is bizarre. Like a lot of times, I used to feel that the reason why I was successful is because we didn't have kids when I started. But when I saw him doing, obviously it was way harder, like 2 times harder, personal life wise, 2 times harder to do it. But when I see him doing it, the same amount of success or more, I was like, okay, that's not a variable. It's just a matter of prioritizing and yeah, just
And the mindset. And
And
the
the
mindset.
mindset.
mindset is you can always find out reasons as to why you don't want to get into a job or do a work. But then I think the idea is right, like today,
He's sick
I am very, very sick. People who know me, even Vishal, my videographer, who was with me to kind of do the back behind the scenes. And the very first thing he met me today, and he said, Orko, you're not here in your energy. You are usually over here. You're somewhere.
Yeah.
So it comes across. But then the very reason why I wanted to kind of stick to it and do this today, push myself, is only because this means something. And I feel that needs to be there. And if we are talking about spouses and everything, it is about bringing it together and doing it. I definitely remember a time, and because Navjot and Deepashree, my wife, so I know Navjot through my wife Deepashree. I call them 30 and 31. From their
because that
college
was our roll numbers in our graduation.
in graduation in college. So 13 Navjot, 31 Deepashree. And they were like in the best of the friends. They were not even acquaintances. You know how you are acquaintances in college and then you come out into a different country and then you gel well? No. So these guys were like, bunking classes together, going out to, to do different things together, right? So I and Navjot knows Deepashree, my wife, way more, like way far away, way more than I have known her for, right? So I totally remember this, that me and Deepashree, we are having a fight, and Navjot and Simran's there. We are having a fight at home about how absent I am from everything in the personal life, and in my in from my opinion, it was like, what I'm like doing it for all of us, like, right there is no other way that I can do it. But then, because Navjot had gone through all of that in the year prior, like Navjot literally took Deepashree in one corner and Deepashree was crying and everything, and then it was Navjot who actually could make her understand as to what is going on, and promise that,
It'll
probably
get better.
it'll get better, and it has gotten better.
Yeah.
Right, because now we do have a team. It's not just on our shoulders. Now we have some stellar partners in the team who are equally or probably more passionate about real estate and helping people. So we are really, really blessed with that, right? So that is, all the challenges that we went through, but then all of it towards something that we are looking forward to, right? Because you don't endure all of this without having a future sight.
Makes sense.
So what are we doing? Because I know that we discussed this like the very first day. It's just 2 years now that we Bricks and Dreams completed a year. And it's just fresh on top of my memory that the first year we want, I come into Navjot's office, this very office. Navjot has this huge whiteboard on his in his office. Actually, two of them. The bigger one outside in the meeting room, and a little smaller one in his office. But he had that entire whiteboard just all chock a block with different things and plans and strategies. But knowing Navjot, not very
This is like
surprised.
2 months after the conversation that we had in your home.
Yeah.
With the passion and everything, and I was like, okay, and now we now need to follow through on what I told her, right? So,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, let's do this, right? So I actually created an entire plan, I still remember it was a 12 or a 13 step plan on like it's a 9 foot whiteboard, right? So,
Yeah.
and the plan was already there. I was just presenting that plan to Orko, and he's like, "Are you sure we are gonna do all of this?" I'm like, "Sure," and we doubled it. I think
I
target
think
was-
when we came in, the first year when we did not have a team, so I did about $33 million in sales volume, and I killed myself for that, right? So 30 million dollars in sales volume, and I killed myself for that. There were about 28 families I helped buy, or sell the real estate transactions, and I literally got killed myself for that. Um, and so initially, when I came in, and Navjot said that, okay, this is the plan. We are gonna go and aim to hit $50 million in sales volume in the first year. I was like, dude, I don't think that's
because he was thinking he's gonna do it alone, right?
yeah. So I'm like, I can't do it because I cannot. I know how much of my health and everything got impacted doing those 28 transactions, $30 million in sales volume. But then after hearing the whole plan out, $50 million in sales volume, that was the first year aim that we wanted to do. And we just did a first year, and then we just hit that number, and we did what we did
93,
93, which is close to you can always say $100 million in sales volume. So it's just crazy to think about the fact that we in 1 year, the very first year, we actually hit the double of the aim that we had, the goal that we had, which is why I'm very, very
in a market which was
excited.
not very
In a market which was absolutely crazy
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
This was the market. Oh, this was the market when people were actually not doing into any going into any real estate.
Yeah.
Somehow, now the reason why I'm saying all of this is because there is a future that we're looking at, and it's not just simply buying. And people, our clients who have been with us, you would know that it's never just about just quick buy or quick sell. It's never about that. It's about a long term relationship, and how we add value to your wealth, to your real estate portfolio. So, but I really wanted to bring this up over here to kind of discuss about what do we have for store in the future. Because one of the things that we keep saying to every new person who we hire in the team is that, hey, look, we are standing on the ground floor. Earlier we used to say first floor, ground floor. Now we can probably say first floor of 100-story building, right? So what is that 100-story building comprised of?
So we do want to build a $1 billion transaction business, like $1 billion in all real estate transactions. We did 93, right? So $1 billion, at least between. We only talk about Bricks and Dreams here because obviously we do it together, and the hope is that we'll the mortgage side and the real estate side will complement each other. So we want to build a $1 billion transaction business, but it's not just that. We want to build it sustainably with a heart in it. Because you can build $1 billion. There are many people who build $1 billion businesses. I'm not saying all build it with not the best of intentions, but we genuinely want to do it with the best of intentions, not doing anything to hurt people, at least intentionally, right? So obviously things happen in the market and we don't have control over everything, but and we want to build a massive team which has the same heart that we have in this business, which is exactly why we call our realtors partners and senior partners. My mortgage team is so close knit. Sahil is in the other room right now, probably listening to this, but we are so close knit that we are almost like brothers. You won't believe this, but we have a separate channel on Instagram, which is Elite Growth Chat or something like that, where we share memes with one another.
What, seriously?
Yeah, you want to be part of it?
Yeah.
No, but
Well,
you'll have to take your mortgage license for that, right? So we share memes with one another, and like crazy memes that you would not never imagine me sharing. But
so we really think that there's this one person in NAVJOT's team called Angad. He's like the best, the underwriter to work with and everything. And then he is in the most serious business. If you know, an underwriter in the mortgage team is probably one of the driest, most serious roles to play. And for somebody like Himangad, he's like the guy who would make memes and stickers out of you when you're on a screen share, when you're on a video call with him, he will just take a screenshot, and if you're doing something random, and he will just make a meme.
Like if someone does something out of the ordinary, we know that Anga took a screenshot of that and made a meme out of it, right? So, as much as we are in a serious business, it's very important that we do all of that to just
Absolutely.
keep our sane. And I'm so proud that we have such a team where we can actually have fun, and that's exactly the kind of team that we want to build. We want to do 1 billion. I would lie if I say we are not doing it for money. We are doing it for money,
Oh,
but
yeah.
we can also do it to benefit other people, which is exactly what Grow Nation is also about, right?
Yeah.
So, like people who close transactions with us, they get into Grow Nation, and the intent is not to leave them high and dry after they close one transaction and we make our commissions. The intention is how do we sustainably grow them with us. That's why Grow with Nav, right? So, like, how do we sustainably grow them with us and retire them early? And I could not do that as well because no one does it. But yeah, we just want to because
Yeah,
we want to have a heart.
Yeah, and it's not just Grow Nation, definitely, yeah. Even in Bricks and Dreams, one of the bottom lines that we have as a realtor, as realtors, is this: that you never let your clients go. It's never about just a transaction where
Yeah.
they just bought a home and everything. We have 30 days, 60 days, 90 days touch points to kind of see how our clients are doing after they've bought their house. Not only before, our job does not end with our clients having bought or sold their homes. We want to be the one-stop shop. As I always say, that we want to be their generational realtors, not just them. Their sons, their another.
Yeah, when Yuvan and
generation.
Aryan are also mortgage agents and realtors and probably partner with one another, that would be so
You-
cool, right?
you think they'll be? I don't
No.
think they'll. I don't think.
No.
I have seen.
Yuvan wants to be a hairstylist, I hear, but
Yeah. So anyway, like he wants to be a hairstylist one day. The other day he wanted to be a garbage man. Okay. Garbage collector. I think he's eyeing very varied careers. He's very open. Very open about it. But I think these are very important. And I think that to kind of bring everything together, I feel the future that we are thinking about for Bricks and Dreams, with Grow with Nav. I think the future that we're dreaming about is having $1 billion in sales volume, churn every year, and while at it, making sure that all our clients and if you're watching to do constant value adds, and so that you become a powerhouse by yourself as well. Yeah. One of the things that we keep telling all our clients is that the reason why we are adding so much value, we are trying to educate you so much, is that it's not just about you. If you have a friend or if you have a family who are probably thinking about real estate, and they would probably come and talk to you because you've already bought and sold homes, then you would be, if you have that knowledge, then you would be in a position to tell them what is the right thing to do. They need not work with us, but in the end, it's a win-win across the board. And I think that's a very that's a mindset that you don't come across very often. Yeah. No, thumping my own chest, but it is actually true, right? So now that we know where the future is led to, so it will obviously be a very first time buyer, first time seller focus always. But then, as I think we will be, going on to. बड़ी जल्दी बड़ी बड़ी जल्दी बड़ी जल्दी कर दिया ओके आप लोग टाइमर लगा के करते हो भाई इससे ज्यादा टाइम लगता ही है 100%. वो बुढ़ापे से रहता पागल क्या बुढ़ापे में उसको बुढ़ापा आ गया नहीं उसको जल्दी हो गया ना तेरे को लेट होता है तेरे पास ब्लूपर बन जाए prospect. Okay. So obviously, so that's the future that we are basically looking forward to for the whole Bricks and Dreams team, and Grow with Nav. The whole Grow with Nav team has such an important part to play with the whole Bricks and Dreams team, because one of the very reasons why we are so successful is because when mortgages and real estate, they are hand holding each other, and this is the very next thing that we're going to talk about as to why this companionship, that this relationship between mortgages and real estate under the same umbrella makes you win than makes you put in murkier places, right? So 100%, as Bricks and Dreams, as a real estate team, it grows. We will have the first time buyer, first time seller at the pinnacle of our thought process, because that is, even no matter how much you grow, you would always feel that that's the segment that people are most vulnerable in. Absolutely. And I feel that we would never let go of this. And if you're watching this 5-10 years later, and if Bricks and Dreams Grow with Nav, we are super big and doing luxury at 100%. I'll be making $0 then, because people don't buy luxury homes with mortgages. But you will always be making money. Okay. Because I am ever thankful for the kickstart that Bricks and Dreams got from Grow with Nav, and just from that very position, this is going on record. Just from that very position, I feel that there is no way Bricks and Dreams lifetime royalty. Yeah, it's a lifetime royalty for sure. But that is basically the whole thought process about it, right? Now, obviously, with that said, there are some frequently asked questions that are belted out to us. And what would you say is that one of the most frequently asked questions to you, that you feel that now it's just at the tip of your tongue that, like, when people ask
I
you
mean,
this.
the most obvious one is, do we need a pre-approval? What is a pre-approval? Why do we need a mortgage agent, right? So now, obviously, you don't have to have us as a mortgage agent. You would win if you do, but I'm just kidding. But yeah,
No, no, you're not. I think you would win, and it's not just because. And I'll let you finish this, because I think many a people just minimize or simplify having mortgages
to rate.
to rates.
So that's the biggest thing that people when come to us, they talk about two things. One is that, do we need a pre-approval, and the other thing is that what's the rate that we'll get. But let me tell you a story of very recently, and this is so top of my mind because it has happened twice in 1 week. It has never happened twice in 1 week. Very similar cases where someone came to us. Sai took that call, and Sai is the main guy that does all the Ontario mortgages. And he took that call, and he told them that your budget is $550,000 or something like that, right? 500. And he was going to put an offer on a $750,000 home. And his realtor then put him in touch with his mortgage agent, or a bank or whatever, right? So some advisor, and they got an approval for $750,000.
Oh, wow.
And with minimum down payment. So, like, obviously, Sahil, when they reached out to him, back to Sahil, again, they were still trying to. I don't know whether they knew that they were falsified documents. I hope they do. But they still tried to, call Sahil and say that, oh, we got this rate. Can you do better? And Sahil was like, you can't be approved for this. And obviously, the client, I don't know whether they knew that they were falsified documents, but they were falsified documents. And 2 days before the closing, when they were signing the documents, the agent, the mortgage agent, actually told them that you need to now pay 1%.
No way.
And because we had to do some magic. I don't know what that magic was.
Yeah,
Maybe
you
we do.
know.
And you'll have to now pay 1%. So now imagine there are two options with this client. Either he commits fraud, pays the 1%, and signs the documents and makes the fraud official, and closes the house. Or um, he walks away from this, but then he'll not be able to close the home. He defaults on the closing, and then he's probably getting sued by the seller. And yeah, those are the two options that he has 2 days before. And now he calls Sahil and says that, oh, can we do something? And Sahil was like, I can't. The only thing is that we can probably move your closing by 1 month, and but then you will have to put in more down payment. So the thing is, not all mortgage fraud happens in front of your eyes. Sometimes people are so deceptive that they do it. And they get all the documents made and everything, and when you are gonna sign 4 days before your closing, and this has happened twice in the last 1 week. And one of the cases is that they already have fraud because they got caught. So the mortgage agent did a very shoddy job of even making documents, which is in itself a very shady job. And the bank caught. And then he came to us. We didn't know that the fraud was committed. And when we submitted the file, there was a rejection on 1 day. And the rejection was that they already have fraud on their credit. And now the life is screwed. And they said, what do we do now? And I'm like, we can't do anything now.
As much as we would love to kind of help,
And honestly, I would not want to help them as well because they did it knowingly, because they actually signed the documents with falsified income, and either they just were ignorant to do it, or they
thought it's something that
it's something that they get away with because they were now gonna get a bigger house with a smaller down payment. And so I don't believe that they didn't know, honestly. So even though I want to help them, even if I look past that and want to help them, I can't, because it's credit on fraud. So unless you can prove that you did it unintentionally, which they can't because they have their signatures on a document that has falsified income written on it, they will forever have fraud on their credit, and they'll never
That's
get
crazy.
a car, they'll never be able to get a credit card, they'll never be able to buy a home. And most people actually go back to their home places when this happens. So
That's absolutely
no house is worth that, and they'll get sued anyways because now there's fraud, they can't close the home, so they'll get sued anyways by the seller, and they'll also deposit $25,000. So nothing is worth it. Like, I don't know why people do it and how people sleep. People who are actually committing from the industry, I don't know how. And the worst part is, real estate agent who did that, he has nothing to lose in this. He was the
yeah,
one who said because
yeah,
it's mortgage fraud, right? So real estate
you don't
agent,
have to do
and I
it.
don't even understand why people reach out to real estate agents first when you can actually reach out to a mortgage agent or your bank and get the numbers and reach out to an experienced team so that you can actually believe their numbers. And we as a team actually show you how the numbers are done, and we educate you. You can become half the mortgage agent, by just having a 45-minute call with the team, and you exactly know why we are saying the number that we are saying with utmost transparency. No one does that. Like, I don't know of anyone who
No,
does
no,
that.
I 100% know. A lot of people who reach out to me, like on Insta, I instantly book a call with Sahil,
Yeah.
for all of them, and not because we want to have them. I have got nothing to earn from that, from those, from those scenarios or situations, because those are all very mortgage related, right? So I don't get anything paid. I don't get paid a commission or anything if it is not real estate. But I still go ahead and try and, help people out, just so that I don't want people in murky
Yeah.
places. And a lot of times, I've got those calls booked with Sahil. Sahil has gotten hopped onto a call, and even for Sahil, he's putting in his time and effort,
Yeah.
knowingly that this might as well. I mean, at the end of some calls, Sahil has actually gone ahead and said that, you know what, it's better if you stick with your institution or bank, and get everything done, yeah, from them, or have it carried
for
over,
for
right?
not fraud reasons, but for reasons
No, 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 yeah.
which are beyond our control. Sometimes they are working with the bank or whatever, right? So like we need an exception that we can't provide. They are working on a contract job, which is, and the bank is probably able to do. So there are certain like rare situations where we can't help, and we actually ask them to go to their bank and get help, and if not, then don't buy. But like obviously. Some agents, and this comes out of desperation, honestly,
Yeah.
also, right? So like some agents just want that commission, and because they don't have anything to lose. And by the way, mortgage fraud doesn't happen by the mortgage agent. So mortgage fraud, the way it happens is, and this I should probably put in my video as well. Mortgage fraud, the way it happens is the mortgage agent actually creates a document. So they're in the business of creating documents, and then they send it to the bank. So they actually have nothing to lose as well. So even though a mortgage agent, when they commit fraud, it's a criminal offense. It's a civil offense first, but if you do it institutionally, it's a criminal offense, and you can lose your license, lose up to $500,000 in fines, or get jailed for 2 to 7 years. But these mortgage agents don't do it themselves. They just create the documents. They send it to a bank. They probably have a contact in the bank. The bank does the mortgage because the documents are so well created. And if they get caught, it's the mortgage agent in the bank that get caught. It's not them, and there's no transaction which happens. There's no money transfer. It's all in cash. That's how mortgage fraud happens. And I'm probably gonna get a lot of shit for this, but and that's the reason why
You
the
already
only
get
person.
a lot of shit anyway for people, for things that you say, for being so true and honest about things.
And that's the reason why the only person who loses in this situation is the client.
100%.
Person
And
who is buying a home.
so this is, again, all of this, we are mentioning this just to re-emphasize the fact, because this is one of the frequently asked questions,
Yeah.
to him, is why should we do mortgages with you? Because like 99% of the cases, people have the tendency to reduce the mortgage, doing a mortgage with somebody, to the rates.
Yeah.
While it should be fine, it's not that, you should be looking at, rates are very competitive. You can actually go and, get those 10, 15 basis points of a different, by talking to other people and everything. But are you knowingly getting into a situation, where that the person who is getting you the mortgage, or the lender who's getting you the mortgage, is not going to be acting in the best of your interest, right? Yeah. That is 100% the play.
Like for example, people get paid more for doing 5-year fixed, but we have known this for the last 2-3 years that 5-year fixed is not the right mortgage. So we get paid less for a 3-year fixed. But if you go to a bank, they have targets, and Sahil came from a bank, right? So they had targets of putting people into certain products, and that's how they get their bonuses. Now we can do that as well because that's how we get our bonuses. But again, there has to be a heart in what you do, and that's why I've been, shouting from the top of my, like YouTube channel, not of the building, but the YouTube channel that
the 100 story,
yeah,
100 story building.
No, just the YouTube channel, 24,000 subscriber YouTube channel. But I've been just saying that do not take a 5-year fixed, because 5-year fix would just put you into a situation where if you break your mortgage, you'll just be paying. So a lot of people go there because, oh, we get a very good rate, and but no one became a millionaire or made a lot of money by saving 10 basis points or $50 a month on a rate.
Yeah.
But you can actually lose thousands of dollars at the back end, because that's how banks make money. So sometimes we feel that mortgage agents are the devil. But mortgage agents are just doing banks' work, and banks are the real devil. And I made a video on this. Like, they earn interest and they are in it for money. And if you are taking a mortgage, make sure you buy your bank stock as well, because they are going to make thousands of dollars. On my mortgage, they are going to make $800,000 in interest alone in the next 30 years if I don't prepay it. So
that's crazy.
So like, don't blame the messenger. Because we are doing just the bank work.
So yeah, so and if any of our clients have a 5 years or 5 years fixed mortgage, and if you are thinking at this point that, oh, Navjot's talking about that's not
No,
the
they
best
don't.
product, so
They don't have a 5 year.
they don't have none of our clients have
Maybe
5 years
one or two,
mortgage.
but that's because
it.
they were not qualified or whatever, right?
Yeah, that is the thing. So like, I was just about to go and say this, that like, the only reason why you are probably in something which we don't, like, resonate with much, is because that's probably the only thing that was,
I shout out so much that
Yeah.
like, my team knows that you just can't get people into 5 year fix.
Yeah.
So very few people will be one or two out of the 200 mortgages that we have done, and the only reason why is because they had to buy a home, their parents were coming or whatever, and they could only qualify for a 5 year fixed, and they wanted to stay in this home long term. So situation just warranted that, okay, but they knew the risks.
Yeah.
Right? So like, we never not tell the risks, because that's not an option with us, right? So yeah, sorry, I'm being passionate about this because I am passionate about this subject. But yeah, that's the biggest question that we get asked, but that's probably the wrong question. Right? Should we get pre-approved? Of course you should. But pre-approval is a piece of paper, so you should not do it for the piece of paper, but you should do it for the actual intention of getting pre-approved and knowing your numbers and going in with confidence. And the realtor who you are working with, they have the confidence that the offer that you are putting is something that will get. Because otherwise, all the effort goes to waste.
Let's talk, because coming from, like, this is one of the reasons why the pre-approval thing is so important. Like, a lot of times, because my team and Navjot's team work so hand in hand. Every single transaction that we're doing with the for our clients, we have a WhatsApp groups created and everything, where me, Navjot, Sahil, all of us are there, and then if it's somebody else, in the Bricks and Dreams who is actually handling that client, that person's going to be there and with the client, obviously. Now, one of the reasons why we kind of go, and most of our offers that we belt out, it does not even have a finance condition to it, right?
Yeah.
The very reason why is because even before we send out the offer, when we are like, let's say we really like a property for our client, and then they want to send out an offer, and we basically have the numbers pre-run before sending the offer out. I have woken up Navjot in the middle of the night to run numbers when it was just the two of us doing deals together.
Middle of a trip as well at 11.
Yeah, middle of a trip. And when Navjot I could not reach Navjot, I called Simran up because I can. And I called Simran up, and I go like, Simran, I'm very sorry. And Simran freaks out. She's like, what happened? And I'm like, can I please talk to Navjot, because I really need to get this number. And I was like, seriously, dude, you just really scared the shit out of me. But that's the whole point. Like, now the very reason why we keep winning is because of this intermingling. If you were to kind of get your mortgage done from a bank or a lender, then imagine, like, on a very tight situation where there is an offer night going and everything, and we are at the cusp of, we are probably the top two, top three offers, right? And the difference really boils down to the fact whether or not you have a finance condition in place or not, because sellers love seeing firm offers, but then we never want to put any of our client in a position where they're vulnerable and where they can lose a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes, this can be used as a negotiation as well.
Yeah.
Like we used on our, when we were doing my personal home transaction.
Yeah.
So it can be used as a negotiation. Now, in today's market, if you are watching this in 2024, 2025, end of 2024, 2025, obviously you can put your, conditions and everything that you want, because it's a buyer's market. kind of, with low inventory. But in situations where you are competing with, let's say, one more offer, but it's at a higher price, there's uncertainty in the market, the job market, and you come in with a financing condition versus you come in with a lower price with no financing condition because you're so confident about the numbers, and you can use that as a negotiation to reduce the price by, in our case, about $25,000. So and you just win there, right? So, and I'm not endorsing that you should ever put unconditional offers, but sometimes you can use that as a negotiation in a situation where there are bids.
And because of that, we've won so many number of times. I feel it is countless. Well, I don't have the like the proper count because I am another person who never goes by numbers. I'm like, okay, let's go, let's do it, and then suddenly,
but it's most of the five then, right? So like almost more
none of the offers that we actually send out are not pre-run by Sahil. And that is one of the, and here's a huge shout out to you, Sahil, because we people don't, because all of our clients, they come in and they're basically cordoned off right at the very beginning in all aspects from any negative things, like whether it be mortgage, whether it be real estate. It's very it's a protective layer that we form around each and every of our clients, right? So I literally have seen Sahil do numbers at 12, 1 in the night, just for us to win. And those are the things that you would not be able to do it with if you were to kind of get your mortgages and everything with the bank. Because when it comes with for a difference, when you know that your lender would basically tell you that, hey, you're okay to go up till this point. But 100% I know this for sure, and I've learned it now, that there are ways to kind of go around. Like you can actually cross that number by 5,000 or 10,000 depending upon exceptions and everything. And if you just had that one person from the lending side who can give you the confidence, okay, you know what, don't worry, go ahead, I'm going to look after it. How amazing is that, right? But then you wouldn't get that if you were to kind of work with the bank, because then you would have to wait till.
Because most times the difference in negotiation is those $2,000.
Absolutely.
And those $2,000, if the property tax is a little bit low and you can actually run numbers at 11 p.m. in the night, you don't even need an exception because the property tax is slightly lower than what you took as an assumption. And that's where it is. Obviously, we are not trying to endorse that you only work with us, but what we are trying to say is that that's how it works on ground, and it's much more real when you actually putting offers at night.
This is actually not endorsing anything. This is actually the answer to the most frequently asked question about why should we do mortgages with you. Right. And that is the answer. And the same thing, like the elephant in the room that we have to address, like as a realtor, as a Bricks and Dreams real estate team, is, do you give cashbacks? Do you provide cashbacks? And that is the other thing that we get asked a lot. And no, we don't work on cashbacks. We do not. We don't work on cashbacks just because we want to be motivated enough. Like money is easily the biggest motivation. We want to be motivated enough to give you all these values to be able to ensure that you are in our protective layer, that nothing goes south for you. Even if something goes south, we will make sure that we're accountable for it. And that's the accountability that we want to keep on the table, and which is why we don't work with cashbacks.
And realtors who actually work, and I learned this so closely working with Orco, because I'd never seen a realtor that closely, right? So realtors who actually work, who actually drive you around, who actually make sure that everything is set in place. They are on every meeting, every showing, every buyer visit. Like I've seen realtors who don't go on buyer visit. I don't know how they operate. And the realtors who actually take the time to do the research, realtor who find it offensive for anyone else to share a property in the group instead of you researching, and you're like, why did I miss this, right? So like realtors who actually work, their hourly rate, if you were to take, let's say, a $15,000 commission, would be under $70, which is any okay paying job, like in IT, right? So like it's not a crazy that they're making $300 an hour,
It's
because
not.
just because they're making $15,000, the amount of time that they spend on the road, it's bizarre. Like driving from Kitchener all the way to Bowmanville for one client just because they're confused. We have someone in the team who does 18 showings in a day, keeping his personal life on the pedestal. It just and getting paid $70 an hour for that.
It's nothing.
It's
And I feel that there is so much more than just opening. A lot of people do tend to think that real estate is all about just opening and closing doors for your clients, but that is not it.
Yeah.
The reason why our clients are winning over and over again, like, none of our clients are in a position where they would be negative on equity or appreciation of their homes. That is only because of the stellar research work that we have established in the team. You've probably seen Navjot's video on the must-haves,
Yeah.
before you want to go and buy a house. Where do you think that came from? So it was me and Navjot sitting together day after day,
Yeah.
refining the whole process, bringing it down to a point where we know you can literally quantify the number of points that you have to kind of take a look at when you're buying a house, whether it be researching for any high voltage tension lines, whether it be researching for cemetery, the school ratings and everything, right? So all of those future developments, like, how many realtors that would talk about, oh, you know what, Halton, like the city of Milton is coming up with this thing, over here. So it's probably not the best place for you to kind of invest your property at. So the reason why we feel that we need to be we don't give cashbacks, and this is one of the most frequently asked questions. And now, since we have the leisure of the time to kind of explain this, is because we put in so much more to this entire ordeal than just say, oh yes, you want it, let's go and get it. No, we don't do that. We are devil's advocate. We would tell you if we think that something is not going to work for you. We would put in those time and effort to ensure that the proper research is done. And none of our clients get those automated emails where they just go through all the emails and then it suddenly becomes their job to sieve through all that you're sending and then tell you. We don't work like that.
And like cashback is very deceptive. Let's say you get a 1% cash. Like, even in mortgages, right? Let's say you get something, right? But at the back end, how do you know that the realtor did not fight to get you the best deal and you are overpaying for the home? Let's say you overpay, and
I can
you already
vouch
know this, right?
I can vouch this, that I will not name the transaction, but that there was a transaction where I was selling a property, and I was able to make the sale, and it was really good. It's a beautiful property and everything, but if you give me 0.5% more on the commission, because I have to give cash back to my clients. And like, it was so bizarre. It was so bizarre for me because buyer agents are supposed to basically negotiate the price down and everything, and then suddenly like that person is actually bringing up the price, which was fine for me as a seller agent. But then that is exactly what I keep telling people, that it's so easy to be giving you $3,000 cash back, and at the back end actually collude with the other agent and actually bring up the price.
And there's nothing illegal in that as long as it's on paper. Just imagine, right? So like, it's more common than you think it is.
And it's a black box. There is no way the clients can actually know about it, right? I'm only being able to share this because I was a party to this.
Yeah.
And because I don't believe in this this is the very reason why I don't believe in cashbacks, because I feel that the moment you are promising cashback to somebody, either A, you will not be motivated enough to put in the same heart and soul to the work to find out the best value deals for people, or if you even if you do, then you'll probably find out some other way to kind of get.
And I've heard agents, and before Orco came into, like, I was working with a few agents. I was working with a lot of agents, right? So like, I was working with agents who were working with the clients that I was working with, their own agents. I didn't know them, but I had conversations where they were like, "हाँ, ये वाला तो cashback वाला client है, तो मैं ज़्यादा नहीं कर रहा."
Yeah, so it's not
So you are deprioritizing the cashback client over another client, because yes, you are the client, and you are thinking that that this agent has only one client, but that's not the case. They're actually prioritizing you over another person based on how much money they're earning, which is crazy.
This is the same reason why you should not ever go with a contractor who is the cheapest in the market.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, how many times, I mean, I have been through those things where the general contractor that I got in touch with, he was the cheapest quote, and I went in with him, and then only to basically have more headache.
Yeah.
To have the project.
You become the general contractor.
Exactly. I'm doing half of the things and everything. So the whole bottom line is this. Again, we are saying this because this is the most, and we had it in our segment as what is our frequently asked question, and whether it be why do mortgages with you, or why do you not offer cashbacks, and that is the reason why we are basically sending out the answers to you. Like, that is the most frequently asked question. That is the answer to it. Now, would you think? But then, do you think you are? And I've started to kind of seeing that. But you're definitely in a league altogether different. Do you think that you're very you're fortunate to kind of get the subscribers, the base of subscribers that you have with you, who resonate with you so much, and they resonate with the values that you're trying to build. So what do you think about the subscribers and people?
Look, so Orko, I have always, and I have this conversation with Simran a lot, and many times a year, that why me? Like, there are so many mortgage agents who make YouTube videos, but why am I probably one of the most subscribed mortgage agents on the internet, right? So right now, Simran keeps coming with and I'm sure you would also say, "Oh, you provide a lot of value. You don't look at your gains. You don't." But I don't. I don't. What I don't understand is, I don't think other mortgage agents are not all agents are trying to dupe people. They're good people as well. So yes, when you ask me, do you feel fortunate? I do feel fortunate, because I don't think I'm doing anything out of my normal self, going out of my way. If I were, not, like, if I was not a mortgage agent, I would probably still make the same content than if I am a mortgage agent. If I feel that you should not buy a house, or you should not buy an investment property in Ontario right now, I would still say that, knowing that it would impact my business, because that's the truth. So probably that's the reason why I'm followed more. But I just feel fortunate that I've been able to create that community that trusts me. And even though we have 24,000 subscribers, every video gets 10 to 20,000 views.
Yeah.
It's rare, and that's probably because I think that's probably because Simran helped me understand this, because you'll always tell the truth.
Yeah, and I feel that this is one of the major things that has helped you win is, and something that I'm truly resonating with now is this, that um, you never want to you never knowingly want to have somebody as your lead. Your conversations are not shaped in a way that it actually funnels down to the part where you're trying to have that person as a lead or as your business, right?
In fact, Orko, I truly believe that if I'm trying to get someone to work with me, I do not have a strong product. Right? So right now, I'm so confident that anyone who doesn't, like, I would never say that on air, because earlier I was not confident of this. Even though I was better than anyone else when it comes to mortgages, I was not confident to say this. But now I can say that if you're not working with us, you're losing in life.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason is that I have Grow Nation, where I actually take one-on-one time with each client to prepare their retirement plans, and then have them, work on those, and hold them accountable for, obviously, people who need that, right? And not for everyone, right? So if you are someone who's amazing at what you do financially, and very clear on what you want, probably I'm not, then I'm like any other mortgage agent. But if you are someone who actually needs that support and hand holding, and to retire, like you talk about cashback, right? Let's say I give a 1% cashback. There are instances where I've saved 5 years in retirement. Like you can actually retire at 55, then 65, and that 10 years of you doing whatever you want is way worth way more than any cashback that I can provide. Even though I give my entire commission, it would not measure up to the amount of savings that you have on time. So now I can say that if you're not working with us, it is a mistake. Yeah. It is but I would never say that on air if I did not have a strong product. So to answer your question, yes, I feel fortunate that a lot of people are attracted to this this community, but it's also because the product is so strong, and I can say it with immense confidence that if you work with us, you win. And I can only say that because my product is super strong, and I've
It
worked
is.
towards it,
It
and I
100%
continue to
is.
work towards this.
Yeah, and the kind of effort that I see that goes in, I see because I'm very close, because I see the kind of effort, the kind of research and everything. This guy is like immersed into in like an analysis research work before bringing something out, because I think the one thing that probably haunts you the most is is a loss of face,
Yeah.
a loss of brand recognition, and I think that is very very important. Talking about how loving subscribers are for you, is where there was this time in this was in during COVID, remember? So NAVJOT and Simran came over, and we were in it was pure COVID time. And I think we were there at Walmart, and this was the time when there were huge queues, outside of Walmart or grocery stores to kind of, go in, because they were managing the crowd as to how many people can go in at a time. And then everybody was masked up. And me, Navjot, Simran, and then was Deepashree there? Or this was like pre Yuvan time, I guess.
I think so. Yeah.
So this was before Yuvan was born. I don't even remember those days now, how those days felt. But yeah, so me, Navjot, Simran, and Deepashree were standing in the queue in one part, and then a person just walked past, and just came back and said, "Hey, you're Navjot, right? So how you?" And to me, it was so mind-boggling, because I was like, "How can?" Because Navjot's like wearing a hat, all masked up. You can hardly just see 5% of his entire face, and then this person just walked past and then came back and said, do you are you Navjot from Pururu Talkies? And then Simran was there and everything, and it was such a nice thing, right? So I feel like while I've seen that part, and like then when we were doing Chintu, I get asked this a lot of times, like why did you stop doing Chintu Pintu Diaries, right? So because people were like, that was really nice, some of the videos were really informative and everything. And then we go to Calgary. Sorry, yeah, I think it was either Calgary or Vancouver, one of the two. Sorry, Vancouver. Yeah, we go to Vancouver, and then there was this place where you can actually go out to kind of have. It was a mountainy place where you can ride those rides and everything. And then me, Dipashri, and Posto, we were up there, and there was this group of young couples who were there, and then somebody just came out and said, "Hey, is that Posto?" They did not even tell me about it. Like they did not like Orko or Dipashi. No, it was like, "Is that Posto? Can we just talk to him and everything?" I was like, "Yeah, for sure." Obviously, Posto being Posto, he was like very nonchalant about it and everything. And but then I really feel great when the other day when I went to the gas pump, and then this guy was like, "Hey, I know you. You're Bricks and Dreams, right?" I was like, "Yeah, for sure. So do you need any real estate?" So yeah, so subscribers are the very basis. Like this, guys. Like if you're watching this, and if you are subscribers, and even if you're not, just the very fact that you're watching this is because I for sure feel, Navjot can speak for himself, but I for sure feel that a lot of but because you do such an because of you, it's so very important that the kind of effort and work that we're doing together in this business, we're trying to kind of create a win-win atmosphere. I think it's very important for people to resonate with it, and when you vibe with it, then you actually spread the word, and then you have like-minded people coming in on the sphere and doing the same things, right? Absolutely. So I feel that, because of that, I do feel that we are I definitely feel fortunate about our subscribers and everything. And because of that, those are the numbers that that in the first year, again, I'm saying this time and again just because how amazing we did in the first year, and it's only going to go up and above from here. So year one, about $100 million in sales volume, 100, and this is just Bricks and Dreams. 160 families helped, and I feel that we haven't even touched the a lot of it. We want to get into commercial, we want to get into luxuries, we want to get into leases, way more than what we do, right? So that's something that we would want to do. But I feel that the journey so far has been super amazing. Anything that you would want
No,
to add?
absolutely. Like I would not, I would not do anything else with my time, honestly. So just to help people, whether it's house, whether it's business, whether it's anything, and that's what we are doing, right? Irrespective of what we do. I started with immigration, then getting people their first jobs, then mortgages, now real estate, now business. So it's just about helping people. So irrespective of whether you want to buy a home or not, if we have a conversation, I would always want to help.
Amazing. And I feel that I could not have achieved whatever I have without this person. So a huge shout out for that.
You keep saying that, but you undermine your efforts, because I could generate all the leads in the world, but if they are not serviced properly, they'll not come back. So the very fact that the clients never come back and say that the realtor that you set up with, or any of the team members, because you handle a big team, right? So they never talk bad. Very rarely do I hear that. Is because you're just running such a tight ship. So you just take away from that. But
Yeah,
it's teamwork, right?
I'm too dark to blush and to be able to, but
And then merging into the black.
merging into the black.
That's my racist comment. Maybe it will be cut, but okay.
I'm used to this now. I'm used to these comments, and I actually like it. But again, the very reason why I wanted to kind of start off this entire podcast journey with this person is because we vibe so much, and it's so much of the similar kind of values and mindset that it's just unsettling sometimes. And some of the marketing things for some of our listings that we work together, we literally have the same kind of thoughts, as to how to go about it and everything. And I feel that having Navjot right next to me, for this entire duration of the business, as to whatever we are trying to build together, I think it's absolutely amazing to have. And with that, I would like to kind of wrap up this maiden podcast, Bricks and Dreams podcast, and many more amazing guests to come with more values to share with. But I think it was just amazing to have you over here. By
Same here.
same here, Gray.
Yes. I don't know. That is an inside joke, literally.
All right. Okay. So till the next time, and till we see you again. Take care and take care of yourself.
Bye.